Hello everyone and welcome to Sunday. Welcome to this news report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Nashville latest. FBI investigating man's properties remains tied to explosion. There are no additional explosive threats known at this time, authorities say. The FBI is searching properties in Tennessee, a suburb of Nashville, and trying to determine if the human remains discovered after the explosion Christmas morning belonged to the person living there. Multiple law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation told ABC News. Sources told ABC News the person in question is named Anthony Quinn Warner. Federal agents arrived Saturday at a location connected to Warner in Tennessee, a suburban community outside of Nashville, to conduct court-authorized searches, sources said. A Google Maps Street View image of Warner's address shows an RV in a fenced-in section of the yard that appears similar to the one used in the blast. A neighbor told ABC News that RV was often parked there. The RV's been there for a while. It doesn't really move. It just stays there. So this was something that looked suspicious, that it's not there anymore, the neighbor said. And here is a photo from the scene at the house. As you can see, multiple agents were at this property searching. The man who lives at the property often kept to himself and seemed to live alone, the neighbor said. Warner transferred the title on the property last month for $0 to a Los Angeles woman, court records show. Law enforcement sources told ABC News the transfer is part of the investigation as authorities work to understand the motive behind the RV explosion. Law enforcement agencies have received nearly 500 tips after the parked RV exploded Friday morning, causing extensive damage. We are continuing to follow every lead we have, U.S. Attorney Dawn said at a press briefing Saturday afternoon. FBI agent Doug declined to confirm at the time if a person of interest has been identified, but he said FBI is not looking for another subject. There are a number of individuals that we're looking at, Doug said. At this point, we're not appeared to identify any single individual. Some of the evidence collected Saturday from the massive crime scene in Nashville was flown to the FBI crime lab in Quantico, Virginia for forensic analysts, law enforcement sources told ABC News. More than 250 FBI personnel from at least 7 field offices are in Nashville working on the investigation, including special agents, analysts, and professional staff who are conducting interviews, collecting evidence, and coordinating with partner agencies, including the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and state and local investigators. Post-blast investigators swabbed the scene for residues, samples that will be sent for lab analysts to determine the type of chemicals used in the explosive device, law enforcement sources said. The numerous crime scene has agents scouring not only at ground level, but on rooftops some blocks away from the seat of the blast for fragments that could help investigators piece together what happened on Christmas morning and why. And here's a scene of 2nd Avenue that occurred on the day. Take a look. As you can see, investigators trying to figure out why this happened. There are no new additional explosive threats at this time, authorities said. Nashville is safe, Metro Nashville Police Chief said during the briefing. We feel and know that we have no known threats at this time against our city. Authorities urge people to avoid the area as the curfew is in effect until Sunday afternoon. Derek asked residents and business owners to be patient Saturday while investigation is underway. Announcements coming from the RV said a potential bomb would detonate within 15 minutes, police said, before it exploded around 6:30 a.m. Friday, blowing out the windows of nearby buildings. The explosion is believed to be and have been in an international act, authorities said. This RV that exploded on 2nd Avenue and this morning, it arrived on 2nd Avenue at 1:22 a.m. Have you seen this vehicle in your area, or do you have information about this? Contact us via Crime Stoppers 615-742-7463 or online via. And here's a look at that again. Authorities are trying to determine why that location was selected for detonation and composition of the explosive, source said, and have been gathering samples and sent to lab analysts. Other investigators are working with behavioral analysts to understand what might have prompted somebody to commit an international act of blowing up the RV after warning people to stay away, sources said. Officers worked to evacuate nearby buildings before the explosion. The department identified them Friday night as the following officers. Take a look. These 6 officers, their names all right here, worked to evacuate nearby buildings before the explosion. The officers were lauded as heroes during a press conference Friday as they took swift action and directed people away from danger. Nashville Mayor John Cooper said. The officers saved lives today, Derek said. They immediately began knocking on doors, not knowing if the bomb was going to go off immediately. They didn't care about themselves. They didn't think about that. They cared about the citizens of Nashville. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee also praised the swift actions of Nashville police and local law enforcement after touring the site of the explosion Saturday morning. "The danger is shocking, and it is a miracle that no residents were killed," he said on Twitter. 3 people were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Human remains were found at the scene, multiple law enforcement sources told ABC News. The remains have not been identified as of Saturday afternoon. At least 41 buildings on 2nd Avenue were damaged, some extraordinary authorities said. Lee said he has requested an emergency declaration from President Donald Trump to support ongoing efforts in relief. The vehicle exploded outside an AT&T transmission building. Service continued to be impacted in Nashville and surrounding areas because of damage to its facility. A fire ignited overnight, leading to the evacuation of the building. AT&T said in a statement Saturday morning, teams have drilled holes into the building to attempt to reconnect power to critical equipment and are also rerouting service to other facilities in the area, it said. And here's a look at this image here from the scene, as you can see. The company has set up 2 portable call sites in downtown Nashville, with numerous additional portable sites being deployed in Nashville, the area, and in the region, it said. Because investigators still don't know if telecom giant was the intended target, federal authorities have asked police around the country to increase patrols around AT&T facilities as a precaution. Due to the circumstances that took place on December 25th in Nashville, we ask that patrol divisions provide extra watch on AT&T building located in any metropolitan building across the nation. According to the text of the federal bulletin obtained by ABC News, AT&T partner with law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders. We are public safety partners giving connective to agencies across the country. The Federal Aviation Administration has issued a temporary flight restriction for Nashville, classifying the airspace as national defense airspace. Pilots who do not follow the restrictions could be detained by the FAA warned. The FBI and U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are leading the investigation. The FBI is asking anyone with information to submit tips on its website. And that does it for this news report right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Goodbye, everyone.